Hi, and welcome to Filmmaker's Compass podcast, where we talk about movies and, well, more movies. I'm D-Man, joined by CP. And CP, how are you doing tonight?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I am also doing fantastic because once we get into our shout-outs, I'm going to explain something very special that happened for all of our listeners and for really one particular listener. But
Ooh.
CP, I am also super excited because this episode is very special. We have a guest today.
That is, in fact, true. We do have a guest coming on. And so for that very reason, we are not going to be doing everyone's favorite segment, Box Office Breakdown, mostly because that's a segment of this show that I do. And, well, I happen to have a lot of fans of this show, D-Man. Sorry to break it to you.
And I'm not going to lie, we also went in depth last weekend with box office exploration.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
This week we'll forego that, but we'll bring it back as soon as we return next week. But until then, first up, we have to get into our shout outs, and I'm so excited to give a massive shout out to Ivor because he hosted movie night and we had the best freaking time, dude. I had so much fun.
We actually did. Ivor, thank you for letting us hang out. And for the rest of our listening audience, if you ever want to have a movie party and invite D-Man and I, and you are well within a reasonable amount of, distance to travel, we're totally game. Totally game.
I mean, it was such a fantastic night. I mean, Ivor went ahead and did some barbecue. We ended up having some drinks. There was a great movie.
The film Sorcerer.
Great movie discussion. I think at one point we even talked about WWE.
Well, for those of you who don't hang out with D-Man that often, he actually frequently talks about WWE. So that's nothing totally unusual there.
And I mean, one of the cool things about movie night with Ivor is that he often is looking at movies that I think are not necessarily the most mainstream. And so he pulled out a movie that was really interesting.
Sorcerer from 1977.
Actually, somewhat of an amazing movie because it gets overlooked. Ivor prefaced this before we actually watched the movie, which was that it released about a month after 1977's Star Wars.
Never heard of it.
I know, I'm wearing a Star Wars hat right now. And it's not Star Wars original, it's Star Wars Return of the Jedi. But anyway, 77, we're going a month after Star Wars. Sorcerer releases. CP, I want to throw something in here, which was interesting to me, which is that the movie title Sorcerer does not match the content of this movie at all.
Not in any way.
Right. I'm thinking high fantasy. I'm thinking Lord of the Rings. I mean, obviously now today, Harry Potter or something, right? Sorcerer. Yeah. No, it's basically about, a couple of terrorists that execute a plan. And then these guys have to get a truck full of important stuff across a bridge. I mean, that was it. It wasn't, there wasn't magic.
It's sort of a branding failure.
Right. Like, I agree with that because the movie itself worked really well. I mean, there were some brutal deaths, some great acting.
Honestly, they should have just called it Drive to Survive.
Damn, that's a good name. You're amazing. Listeners, let us know what you think about that name. I know probably other than Ivor. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Sorcerer, but Drive to Survive sounds pretty good. Ivor, I want to say to you, thank you so much for having us over. It was a blast. And now I want to say to new listener Julian, where were you?
That is true. That's the kind of the opposite of a shout out. Julian, we were bummed. We actually I can't speak for D-Man here. I only showed up to Ivor's movie night. Play ball with me, Ivor, just to see you, Julian, and you weren't there.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of disappointing because we'd just gotten the comment from Ivor about you, and last week we're like, oh my God, Julian, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And then this week it was like, I can't wait to see you in person, get to know you and hang out. And I'll go fuck myself. So there we go. Julian, I'm just kidding. I appreciate you listening to the podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm glad that you're listening, even if you didn't show up in person. But if Ivor is hosting another movie night, I totally expect your presence. I don't know about you,
So,
CP, but I do.
fair enough. On that note, let's get into the rest of this discussion. So, we've had a very interesting weekend with a major movie premiering in the box office again. D-Man, I think you know what movie I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Go ahead and make the announcement.
Jaws. Yes, that's right. Jaws was in the box office. To talk about it, we are bringing in
Look at that shirt. It's
It's beautiful.
amazing.
we are bringing in my good friend, director, writer, and just all around Jaws expert, Kaitlin Moose. So, Kaitlin, thank you for being here.
Yay,
Yay!
thank you
Thanks
for coming.
having me. I don't know how I feel about the term Jaws expert being applied to me, but we'll see what we can do.
Well, you know more about Jaws than I do because, you've actually been to, the filming locations. You've
Yeah,
seen the shark up close, like
Ooh.
so. Yeah, you're more of an expert than the two of us.
I try. I do what I can.
I mean, I've never seen a shark, much less even a mechanical shark up close. So that's pretty cool.
Seen a couple of different ones now because I also work at Universal Studios. I'm a tour guide there. So we've got obviously Bruce for the trams that go past. We just had our mega movie summer, so another shark hanging in the theme park. And then if you go to the Academy Museum, you can see the actual mechanical shark that was used for filming Jaws. It's been restored and it's hanging up. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that
lots of
is
different sharks.
awesome. So, okay. Let's talk about the mega movie summers.
Hmm.
Obviously, we knew that this was a big year with the 50th of Jaws.
Yeah.
Did Universal do anything like really exciting to celebrate that and promote it? And
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just trying to have like our big blockbuster summer, obviously celebrating the very first summer blockbuster, which is Jaws, of course, as we know
Yes.
and love.
Mhm.
And so this was the 50th anniversary of Jaws. We transformed the Hollywood and Dine for park goers that are familiar. Hollywood and Dine over by Waterworld became kind of an Amity Island inspired diner, and they had some really cool different food and drink options. And then over by Waterworld is where we put the shark. We also had some characters which we never had before. So we had a Chief Brody and we had a Quint, and they were out there, doing their thing for photo
Oh,
ops.
that's cool.
Chief Brody had a chum bucket that had, you know how like for Halloween Horror Nights we've got the what do they call them? The smell-o-matics, the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
scents.
Yeah.
Chum bucket had a scent if you stuck your head on in there. So,
No way.
yeah, for the children, fun times, Universal style.
Can I just say, I actually was at Universal about a month ago, so I got to experience all this. And
Yeah.
I have some photos and different things. I got photos with the characters with the hanging shark. I tried one of the drinks called like a shark bite, which was really neat because it's like a I think it was like a seltzer drink or something, and it's clear, and then they like drip this red stuff on top, and it literally
Yeah,
looks like blood coming down. It's pretty cool.
beautiful.
So exciting, yeah.
So, okay. I mean, Dustin, first of all, I'm glad you're at Universal. That sounds like a lot of fun. You maybe saw Caitlin there.
It was fun, yeah.
Maybe she's driving around your tour.
We might have been there at the same time. I don't know.
Quite possibly.
So, okay. So you also mentioned that they did a screening specifically for Universal
Right. So
staff.
one of the really cool perks of being a tour guide at Universal is that sometimes we get some screenings that happen. And this one was so fun. They put together a screening where Carl Gottlieb, one of the writers of the screenplay, came.
Nice.
And I also
Wow.
have this right here because he wrote the Jaws log as well.
No
That's very
way.
cool, yeah.
So he came and did like a little Q&A for us, and then we got to see it on the big screen, which was awesome.
Wow, that would be cool. I mean, it would be great. I always love it when you get Q&As with people who are involved, but I'm sure his perspective was very
Yeah.
unique.
And he's so funny, sharp as a tack. It's like you can still see him remembering like it was yesterday, and
Oh my
just
gosh.
just the stories of the filming of this movie, everybody knows. It's like insane. It's like a huge legend of how
Yeah.
bad things went. You're talking about the first feature film that's filmed on open waters like this because Spielberg and Joel Alves, the production designer, wanted that authenticity. They didn't want to shoot like just in a tank. They wanted you to be like, you're really there. And so to do that, though, they didn't realize that it was going to be so nature versus man. They had a lot of
Yeah.
problems
Sure.
Yeah.
out on the open water, had a lot of problems with the mechanical shark, so pushed back 100 days
Oh my
for
gosh.
filming. Yeah,
Ugh.
way over budget. Spielberg thinks he's never going to work again because this is like his first big major thing, right?
Yeah.
He's done
Yeah.
Duel, which was on a made-for-TV movie, and then Sugarland Express. But this
Yeah.
is like the thing that launched his career, but it could have easily ended his career. So,
It,
yeah.
First of all, was he not right? The whole idea of having, how he said it was essential we shoot on open water for the space. Like watching it on the big screen, I'm like, oh my God, he's totally right because it
100%.
feels so desolate when you
It
see it in the
does.
theater that way. I'm like, yep, I can't see how you could ever get away doing it any other way.
Right. No, it's beautiful. You feel like you're there, and it just I love that, I've watched a couple of documentaries and interviews with Spielberg, and just to know that he really had to trust his instincts on that, and he got a lot of pushback. And then you've got things are not going well, and you're costing the studio
Hmm.
so much money, and
Hmm.
they're like, "You really want to do this? You really want to continue with this?" And he had to be like, yeah, this is the thing. This is how it's
Yeah.
gonna be. He
Yeah.
really had to champion that. So it's really interesting to look at and be reminded. As a director wanting to get into this myself, it's like, yeah, you gotta helm the ship, right?
Yeah, yeah, literally, and stick to your guns. Um, so was the screening for Jaws that they did at Universal, was that the
Mm.
first time you saw it on the big screen?
Yeah, that was my first time seeing it on big screen, and I think I got a
Nice.
little away from some things that Carl was saying. I just wanted to get
Mhm.
in there that he was talking about, and he mentions this in the Jaws log as well, where they were constantly writing and rewriting the entire time of production. So like you've got
Mhm.
Carl there and they're trying to write things that they're going to shoot the next day. Like it's just
Yeah, that is
insane
crazy.
that the pre-production on this film didn't happen in the way that you would think about a movie happening, and it still managed to come together so beautifully. So
Yeah.
that was just something I loved hearing from him. But yeah, that was the first time I saw it on the big screen, and then just yesterday I got to see it in IMAX.
Oh
So
my, I am
it's
Even
so,
better.
fantastic.
oh my gosh, I am so jealous of that. That sounds like an incredible movie in IMAX.
It was it was crazy. The sound was amazing. The picture quality. I mean, this is going to sound so Chrissy Watkins' death scene, right? We
Hmm.
all
Yeah.
know she's swimming naked in the ocean.
Hmm.
Every time I've watched this film, I'm like, oh, wow, it's so tastefully done. She's in the shadows, blah, blah, blah. No, no, I could see things pretty clearly on this IMAX screen. I was like, oh, wait,
What?
wait a
No,
second.
I had no idea.
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, I can't for the life of me. I got to look this up if it was like digitally restored and enhanced or like the screen. Like I can't tell if it's like the colors on the screen I saw just it was better than I ever saw or if they like did. I don't
I
know. I
believe it
cannot speak to that.
was.
You believe it was?
Yes, because we went yesterday as well for the
Yeah.
50th anniversary in theaters. I didn't happen to see it on IMAX though. Even though I wanted to, I went with a party that was big enough where it was hard to coordinate times, and we went with a regular screen. But before the screening actually aired, there was a message from Spielberg himself addressing the audience, and he did say that this 50th anniversary release was touched up. It's in 4K, and they did do some
Oh,
alterations. So you are correct.
beautiful. Okay, that makes so much sense because I was like,
Mm.
wait a second, I have never noticed these details before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
it's
is
great.
it was really great to see it on the big screen, and especially like being restored and everything. I know, at least speaking for my group, we had a great time. It was so much fun to see it on the big screen.
It was amazing, and to see it now in two different like public screening settings where you get like the laugh lines and everybody's cheering. You're like in it
Yeah.
together, and you can really tell one how moving of a film this is, but also how funny it is. Like there are
Yeah,
a lot of good laugh lines.
there were so many, and everybody in my audience was laughing. Like it was a
Yeah.
great experience. A couple of the people that I went with walked away having seen Jaws prior to this on the small screen, but probably in a very relaxed setting where they're probably on their phone or eating dinner or, they've
Yeah.
seen it, but they've never seen it with like your full attention on the big screen. And everybody walked away loving it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
And
also just one of those movies where I feel like every time I watch it, I take away something more. Like there are
Yeah.
just so many layers to it. So I love it. Yeah.
And they definitely, there was that one jump scare.
the head,
Yeah, where
yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss is underneath the water and he's like looking at this boat that's like half sunk or whatever, and then a head pops up and there's this loud, effect like a shriek or whatever. And
Yeah.
everybody in our group jumped, even though I knew exactly where it was coming. So I was like watching everybody else, not the
But the
movie
whole
right there.
theater, like, yeah,
Oh,
up
it's
at
so
once.
it's honestly the like scare it that jump scare is like one of the scariest parts of the film, and that's where it'll get you. But we know the story behind the scenes of that one, right?
With
I
shooting
don't.
in the pool.
Yes. So that
Wait, so what happened?
that one shot was reshot in Verna Fields, the film's editor. It was in her pool in her backyard over in
Get
freaking
out of here.
Encino.
Yeah,
Yes,
Oh my God. That's not even on a lot. It's just in someone's
it's in
pool.
her pool.
because my
Wow,
understanding
that's
was
nuts.
Spielberg didn't want Universal to know that he had to reshoot, right?
Yeah, well, it's one of those where so again, I also just watched Jaws at 50. It's on Disney Plus that they put out as like the official 50th anniversary documentary. And yeah, that's kind of the way they were phrasing it, is that it had already gone like so over budget that but like Spielberg's still like, no, we need these things. Because I did learn that Verna Fields was there on location in Martha's Vineyard editing
Oh,
as they were
oh my
going. She was
gosh.
part of the talks of like, okay, what else do we need to write? What other shots do we need to like make this work? And then I believe they did film that there, but to get the timing and really get the jump scare they wanted, they reshot it in her pool. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, to great effect because it totally worked. I mean,
Totally.
50 years later and people were still scared in the theater. That's pretty impressive.
I know.
So
Wow.
I wanted to ask you too. One of the things that I think Jaws is notorious for, amongst being, the first major summer blockbuster, but also scaring people out of the water. I just wanted to get your opinion. Having seen it now,
Mhm.
do you think that was an effect of something like people unfamiliar at that time with sharks? Because I feel like today people aren't scared to go in the water after watching the movie.
Yeah, you do wonder how much of it is like a product of its time and that it's like just the context of what was happening right then. And like you said, that you don't know things. I do know that like things got worse for sharks right after the film before they
Oh
got
yeah, yeah.
better with like conservationists. Um, but as far as like being afraid of the water, I don't know. It's still pretty scary for me because you've got the whole line about like most shark attacks happen in 3 feet of water, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole like no one's safe. You can't even like, oh, I'm not being a crazy person and going out into the
Like
deep.
super
Like,
far, yeah.
yeah, I think, well, I also
Or like out in the water, they're like, here's the shark line. Don't go past
exactly.
this
Yeah,
line.
don't
You're
go
like,
past that and you'll be safe. No. Well, I also grew up with we're kind of like the next generation, whereas if our parents watched this movie, they might have been afraid of the ocean. So I don't know about you guys, but my parents were definitely, they're not water people. And
oh,
then as a kid, I got stung by a jellyfish that made
oh,
me,
that's
yeah, kind of put the fear in me for the ocean as well for quite a while. So, yeah, I don't know.
because it is. I bring it up because there was literally a scene where Chief Brody's like reading through a book in the movie, talking
Yeah,
about how people don't know anything about sharks. But now we have like Shark Week.
yeah.
Obviously, this movie itself helped a lot of people get interested in sharks, just
Hmm.
reading more. And then um like our accessibility just to the internet to be able to look anything up at any
Sure.
any given moment. So I'm like, I think back and I'm like, it probably is a product of its time that simply people didn't know much. And so it was more the fear of the unknown, where now, I
Right.
mean, there's definitely like zoos and aquariums and all this stuff where you can get familiar with sharks on a much more intimate level than people probably ever were at that
Yeah,
time.
that makes sense.
Absolutely. Can we talk about, and we're now tiptoeing into like controversial territory, okay? Um, because I had a different friend that also just saw the screening in IMAX, and he like wasn't a huge fan. And wait. We were talking about like the appearance of the shark and is it scary? Does it hold up? Because I do know when I was younger and I first watched Jaws, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of, it feels very animatronic. But then you hear about all these shark experts thinking that this is really what a shark looks like. And you go to look at actual shark footage and you're like, oh yeah, it's not like they're moving that much. It is kind of
Yeah.
weird and still like. So what are you guys' take on the shark?
Go ahead, CP.
Okay. I mean, the shark looks good in most of the movie. And you're right. We know a lot of that was not the original intent. It was done out of necessity, and it worked out brilliantly because it is done so sparingly, and we are queued up to who the shark is through the music. We see a fin. Like, I think that all works really well. When it jumps on the boat, I mean,
That one shot.
I get it that because I know what you mean in the sense that like people who study sharks say it moves like a real shark.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that there's something about that scene that is weird, and don't think it's actually the shark, but I think we blame the shark. I think it's the fact that when Quint gets swallowed, he literally doesn't try to fight in any way.
You're like, you could have
I'm like,
gotten
you're
out of
not
there,
gonna just
Quinn.
kick a shark in the
Sliding.
face.
Right? We're like, come on, Quinn.
Yeah,
Or even I was thinking too, when I think it's Brody has that thing and he's like poking the shark, and I was like, get its eye. Like I was literally like screaming that out loud. I'm like, poke it in the eye, dude.
yeah, yeah.
But
Um,
I know for me, CP, one of the things that did stand out seeing it on the big screen just a day ago was at times it was like attacking the boat, but it gave me the impression, my understanding of sharks is that they can't like stop moving forward, that like they have to keep going. And it kind of felt like the shark
Oh,
was like
you're
bumping,
right.
like
yeah.
bumping up and going back and forth. And I was like, I don't know if like a shark would actually do that. I mean, it does it to great effect for the plot of the film, but I was kind of like, sharks, I don't think they would like pause like that. They have to keep going. So,
mm.
or I guess I don't know what happens. Their gills don't get enough oxygen or something. I don't know, whatever it is.
That's a good point. I guess you could kind of say maybe it was like they hit and then like a tail hit and then they're making like a
Yeah.
spinning maneuver, but I know exactly what you mean. It does give
Almost
the
like when it was
impression
on
that it's
top of the
like,
cage where it's like
mm,
spinning and like I could see that being like a totally plausible in my mind. But in the way I was picturing it is like the shark just coming up and like attacking the boat.
Well,
yeah,
so just going back to the boat scene because I was thinking about it. I
yeah.
think the other issue is that in the rest of the film we see portions of the shark, right? Leaving a lot of it to playing into that fear of the unknown. And the problem is when it jumps out of the boat, it's more than just the mouth, right? Like suddenly we see the whole shark, and it is kind of underwhelming in the sense that it's all now revealed to us.
Mm.
So maybe
Yeah.
that was your friend's issue. Or maybe he just hates Jaws and he has bad taste in movies.
You might. But I thought it was interesting because, again, just back to the like, do we just not know about sharks? I would have thought almost that was kind of hokey, like the sharks jumping on the
Mhm.
boat. And then you've got shark experts that are like, no, that's like, they definitely jump out of the water like that when they're hunting. So it is like a plausible maneuver for it to have
Yeah,
made.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay. So it like puts you in more. But again, as like a first time viewer, I don't know, it almost didn't seem real, but then it's almost more terrifying that that could be the reality, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, for
But
sure.
it is terrifying when like literally 30 seconds later, Quint is in the mouth and you hear that crunch. And
Mm.
to me, it was so sad, especially yesterday, having everybody so intimately listening to the story of the USS Indianapolis. And
Oh my God, great.
ultimately, like this is his worst nightmare happening right in front of us. And you can almost see they have that one shot where he's like his hands hanging onto Brody's hand and he's like, don't let me go. Like this is exactly what I don't want.
Yeah.
And then it happens and you're like, oh my gosh, that is terrible.
Yeah. No, you're so right. And
But
should we
I,
talk
I don't
about
know.
yeah,
No.
Indianapolis monologue?
Amazing.
Which I mean, I always knew that John Milius wrote it. I didn't realize until recently that he wrote like 8 pages of it.
Well, wait, so the ending, what ends up in there is like a Robert Shaw
Yeah.
rewrite, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Condensing
That
it
is
down.
cool.
I was like, I didn't realize that was Robert Shaw. Like, good job, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the cool stories that Carl was telling is just how many writers touched this. And like I said, they were writing and rewriting the entire
Yeah.
time. And then, um, oh, I'm gonna get this name wrong. Howard Sackler. Is that, does that
Yeah.
sound like a
Ooh,
familiar
I'm
name to
not
you
sure.
guys?
Yes.
I think that's the one who initially put in to make it Quint's motivation to even include the USS Indianapolis as like a, oh, this is why this guy hates sharks and does what he does.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, to go through to so many different people to try to get that monologue right. And then for Robert Shaw, who was a playwright as well, to have that touch on it. And then, he also understands his character so well. I think that's a really cool part because that's also so many people's favorite scene.
Yeah.
And they do it so well because like it literally there's so many elements of the filmmaking drawing you in, which is like, it gets really quiet. Before that, they're making jokes and
They're joking around, they're
right.
finally bonding. Yeah.
And then the camera starts to come in, and like as he gets more and more serious about this one particular scar and the story associated with it, I was like, to great effect. I was again sort of paying attention to the people in my theater because I've seen this so many times, and everybody was like just leaning forward a little bit because this story is so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also wonderful. Again, like you said, you're looking at the filmmaking, and there aren't a lot of cuts, and it's just Shaw, like
Yeah.
for minutes at a time, is just locked in, and you're like, yeah, this is, yeah, it's wonderful.
They do an excellent job, yeah. And then one of the things that really stood out to me again, seeing it with a live audience again in the theater, that I just hadn't noticed in so long was how much humor there is throughout the movie, which is a staple of Spielberg films. He's
You,
known for adding that in.
you're wearing a sweater. Like,
Yeah,
I
great line.
love it.
And the whole
God.
audience erupted. Like everybody
Yeah,
was laughing at it. I was like, dude, it all still hits, but I don't remember Jaws being that funny. There's a couple
right.
jokes that I remember, but uh again, it was more so not because the jokes don't land for me. It's just when you're with a live audience and everybody's laughing, it's almost like a laugh track. You're like, wow, this
Yeah.
was great.
I had the same feeling, and I think part of that is there's humor in the line, and then also there's kind of like a camaraderie of everybody loves this film and like what it means to
Yeah.
us, and like that you can kind of feel that as well, I
Yeah,
think.
definitely translated to the audience for sure.
What I was going to say, I did not realize this. The themes of political corruption. I did not realize it so heavily in the film until rewatching it recently. And I know in the 50 doc, they talk a lot about how, for audiences at the time living through Watergate, that was something that was very real and resonated with them. But I just thought it was interesting because, in all the themes in Jaws, man versus nature and man versus self and all these things that we see going on, I that was never a theme that in any way was like really overtly jumping out at me.
Hmm.
And so I thought it was interesting seeing that um, you know, so prevalent this last viewing.
Yeah.
I mean, the mayor's literally like the villain. I mean, obviously you want to say shark, but like the shark is, just being a shark. He's
Right.
like, how are you going to get mad at a shark for us, going out into its environment? It's like the mayor's the one who keeps pushing for people to go back out into the
Yep.
water.
Yeah.
And, hey, we need to prioritize profits for the island over people's safety. And, he's really the one that does this. And even to the extent that he has that scene when he's in the hospital and he's sort of not in shock, but shaken up. And he talks to Brody about like, my kids were out there too. And you're like, you were willing to put your own kids out there? Like that's what I'm taking away from this is like you were
Yeah.
willing to be like, hey, just to prove a point, like I'm gonna put my kids in the water. You're like, damn, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
Mhm. I also just like that it's handled in such a nuanced way that, like you said, you didn't come away being like, this is about capitalism and politics. Like it wasn't that in your face, but because you can have a much more sympathetic outlook towards Mayor Vaughn as well, because if he closes down the town that needs summer dollars, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got all these businesses, the people that you see at the town hall meeting, like they're not making money because the tourists aren't going to come. So you're like
Yeah.
bankrupting Amity Island if you shut this down for tourists. So it's not just like his own corporate greed per se. It's
Yeah, like
like
I personally profit from this, but he's
right.
yeah, it's for the greater good, as
Yeah,
all
which as
heroes
all
always.
villains,
Yeah,
yeah. Always think they're doing what's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
but and then they have that scene too where I don't remember the kid's name, but the mom of the kid who passed away or got eaten,
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
The
so
one
She
that,
that's
comes up and
Alex
blames
Kentner.
Brody. Yeah,
Hmm.
yep.
and that scene always, even as a kid, I remember sort of being really uncomfortable because it was like, dang, like you could tell right there that the mayor's standing right there, but she blames Brody, not the mayor,
Yeah.
Hmm.
right? Even though he's the one who's basically pushing him to do this, and he takes ownership of that right there. I think that's what ultimately really drives him after that moment to not capitulate to simply whatever the mayor wants to do. After that, he's like, okay, yeah, we really gotta like lock this down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because at that point, the mayor doesn't even want to cut open the shark, which again, in a sympathetic viewpoint, you're like, yeah, you don't want Alex Kempner to spill out all over the dock. So, like,
Yeah,
understood. But we
Good
can
point.
check it later
Yeah.
when the people leave.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
And so, obviously they end up doing that. But yeah, that scene where she comes down and is just like, my boy
yeah,
is dead now. Wow.
yeah. And it's weird because, like you mentioned, CP, like some of the politics and stuff. When I saw this movie as a kid, and I used to watch this and even the sequels and different stuff. I mean, that wasn't necessarily what resonated with, people getting eaten and the beach scenes and when they're out on the water. That's what I remember. But yeah, it's like one of those things where, as you get older and you're paying attention to different themes and the things that come alive, it's always funny. I think back to like being a kid and like with Ghostbusters, they're just, they're going and capturing these ghosts and it's fun and exciting. And then, when you're an adult, you're like, oh, it's kind of about a story about like starting a small business and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's like a different layer on top of it that really works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really liked in the documentary they talk about a theme that I hadn't really thought of before, which is the theme of home. Because they talk a lot
Mhm.
about like Chief Brody, he's from New York, and his wife even at one point when he's like, "Will you take him home?" She's like, "To New York?" And he's
Oh
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
"No, home
Yeah.
here." So I thought that was really interesting because like they're on the boat, they just want to survive, they want to get home back to their families. Are you in the shark's home of the ocean? We're
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
actually,
point. Yeah.
so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's actually a really cool theme as well that I hadn't thought about.
And then don't they have a bunch of characters throughout sort of mention what it means to be an
An
islander?
islander, yeah,
Yep.
they're
Yeah.
like, she can't be an islander. You're not born here. You're not an
Yep.
islander.
Right.
Yep.
But kind of like, it's your home, but it's,
Yeah,
not your home like it's my home.
right, 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 right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show me the way to
They
go.
sing about home. Yeah, you're right.
There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah. Wow. That is true. That's a big theme. Speaking of the Alex Kentner thing, I mean, it is amazing that the woman who portrayed his mother was not an actress, right?
What?
That's insane. The
She was
whole
I didn't
movie.
even know that.
she was one of the many local. Most of the cast is
Mhm.
Islanders themselves who were
Yeah,
cast from a casting call, and they're like, great, we're already here. I heard something like there's like only like 6 people on the cast side that they
right.
brought to Massachusetts to shoot, which is
Yeah.
insane when you think about that.
You've got your three leads, um, Lorraine.
Hmm.
Uh, Opening
Yeah.
scene is Susan Baccalini, I believe is how you pronounce her
Is
name.
that Chrissy?
Yeah, Chrissy.
Yeah.
And the guy that gets eaten by the shark in the pond when he's trying to warn Mike and those on the boat. He's like in the canoe
He was an
or
actor
whatever.
or he was
He was one of the guys that was like from Hollywood. I think
But
that was the
okay.
list,
I
right?
think he was the
Oh,
one
and
of
Mayor
the
Vaughn.
yeah, but I think the one who was attacked on in the
Pond?
yeah, I think he was an actor in LA, but I think he was from
Mm, yeah.
the island
He's like,
originally. So
they
he's
did a
like,
casting call.
I
He's
got to go
like,
back
hey,
to
I
be in
have
Right,
that
a
right,
movie
movie.
right.
here,
Yeah.
so maybe I should be in this.
Yeah, but then like everybody else, like Christian was saying, it's Sherry Rhodes was like living over there and interacting with all these people, and she would just like take copious notes. I think in the Jaws log it talks a lot more about her like just really getting to know these people and all their like I mean that also goes back to how they're writing the whole script too,
Yeah,
right?
sort of as it's going.
Yeah, because you're finding all these colorful characters on the island, and then people want to be involved in like the beach scene and stuff, just all those extras. But yeah, you don't even think about something like a Mrs. Kentner is also being cast that way too. It's just insane.
Yeah, and like I know there was a local fisherman who Robert Shaw kind of leaned on to develop his accent and his
Yeah.
personality, who is in the movie. He's one of the
Yes.
guys when they go hunting the shark.
Ben
But
Gardner.
yes, it's so crazy because you're like, oh my gosh, these are just like real people that Spielberg's like, yeah,
That's
just
that's
throw
his
the
head,
camera.
the jump scare head.
Yes, yes,
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Yeah.
Insane.
And then you've got the fun ones like so Carl Gottlieb plays Meadows, the news reporter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was so interesting to hear like he initially had a much bigger role in the film, and to do the script properly, he ended up cutting his part, almost completely out,
Yeah.
which like that's
Yeah.
so sad as a writer, write
I
yourself out
know.
of the film. And then Peter Benchley, the author of Jaws the novel, was the news reporter on the beach when
Oh,
they're
okay. I didn't
yeah.
know
yeah.
that either. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
That's
so
cool.
some fun little moments like that.
Man,
I know
that's
now.
insane.
Now I'm actually really excited for our listeners because I kind of wish I knew some of this, seeing it yesterday.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you
If
gotta
you
go
guys are
again.
gonna, yeah, if you're gonna go see it now, this is gonna help.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, speaking about the island,
Yeah,
one of the things I want to talk to you about is you in preparation for the 50th, right? You made a pilgrimage out to Martha's Vineyard to
I
check out. Can you
did.
talk a little bit about what it was
Yeah.
like being there and
Oh, it was so insane. I want to do more things like this, but just so you guys know, this is not like me going on a solo trip from Los Angeles to Martha's Vineyard. Like that wasn't, it was so wild. I took 3 planes overnight
Wow.
to get to Boston, and then from Boston took a bus to Woods Hole, and then from there you take the ferry over to Martha's Vineyard, where thankfully so I went in May, and this was right before like their peak season, their summertown
oh
summer
wow.
dollars, right? So
Yeah, you're
uh,
right in the right in the
I know.
moment.
So it was like amazing because there were not a ton of people, but that also meant that the town itself, some things weren't open yet. Um,
No
Oh,
way.
okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
buses weren't running on like full schedule yet. So there was kind of a lot that I had to take into that I had to learn while I was there of like, okay, what can I do? What can't I do? But I went into the terminal in Vineyard Haven is like so the whole thing is Martha's Vineyard, and the way it's set up is you've got the West Chop has Vineyard Haven, East Chop is Oaks Bluff,
Mhm.
and then kind of where like downtown Amity was filmed in Edgartown, which is a little more south. And
Okay.
then so that was all like close enough. I was doing this all by bus. And then on the whole other side of the island, you've got, I'm going to start butchering names, but Akina is where like the lighthouse is, where the billboard was. And then also Menemsha is where Quint's shack is in that little fishing village. So
No way.
yeah. I don't know where you want me to
Which
start, but I can talk about all kinds of stuff.
I always love that shot from Quint's shack through the jaws.
Yeah, it's
That's
beautiful.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Well, it was insane. So with that one, Quint's shack is no longer there. That was literally built for Jaws, and
No way.
it didn't follow like their city ordinances because I
Oh,
think I forgot exactly what it was, but maybe it couldn't be like 2 stories tall, and so they
yeah.
had to tear it down after filming.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, so that's no longer there, but the plot of land is still there. It's very overgrown. I tried to like climb up in there and film.
Yeah.
And I'm
Get
like,
like one of
"Hee
those like
don't
framed
mind me."
photos where
Yeah,
you're like, there you go. I was right there.
I was here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Menemsha was so weird because it was so far on the other side of the island. I'm taking this bus with like one rando where when you're talking about the characters that are
No
islanders,
way.
this guy was like something else. And he Like he was talking to me about his scripts and how he was going to be a Hollywood dude. Like, I don't know. I'm so happy he went off and found his buddies to get drunk with when we got to the next
Yeah, be like, hey,
yeah,
I'll catch you later.
Catch you later. I'm
Yeah.
going over here. No, but it was so tiny, tiniest fishing village. You get out and this street has like a couple of small shops where you can go buy your fresh fish. And then I had to like walk, a few streets down is where you see like where Quint's shack is, and there's the rows of houses.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's
like
all
the
it
whole
was.
town.
That was like it.
No
And then I got back
way.
on the bus and left. Like,
Did you try and charter a boat to go take you out shark hunting?
dude, did I look it up? Yes. Was it possible? No. Because some people, I watched, a lot of filming locations videos, and some people do charter the boats to like try to get like, where they were in different places, or go see the lighthouse at the end credits is really hard to get to. So, yeah, no, everything was booked or just hellaciously expensive.
Oh my God. I can imagine it's not cheap.
Right.
Did you go see Brody's house?
Yeah, so Chief Brody's house is over on the East Chop. So I did a lot of walking. I need to like sit down with Google Maps
The steps,
and be like, what was my step counter? So Chief Brody's house does not look the same at all. They completely
Really?
redid
Okay.
it. Yeah. Completely redid it. They still have like the garage looking thing where he backs the truck out from. But it's got a different siding on it. But what was cool is like how he backs out of the driveway and drives down. Those two houses that you see in the distance are still the same. So you're like, yeah, this is the road.
That's like the same.
This is
frame.
where it is.
Nice.
So that was cool. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. But otherwise, no, I'll let you ask.
How about the
can
ferry?
just be talking.
Can you get on the ferry that when they do the epic
The Chaffee
long shot?
Ferry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to Old Sculpin's gallery. It was so interesting. So there's the shot of Brody while he's waiting for the ferry and he's smoking a cigarette, and there's a building in the background.
Mhm.
That building is actually what inspired Quint's shack that they built over in Menemsha.
Okay.
Like if you
Okay.
look at it, you're like, oh yeah, I can really see that. So that's still there, which is really cool. And then yeah, you buy a ticket for the ferry. Unfortunately, it doesn't do the really cool, like the iconic 180-degree spin
Yeah.
anymore. No, it just goes straight across. So there are two of them, and they're just like broop, broop, broop. But it was insane, like just to see. That was again part of like the charming island culture, is like literally people that you see. Cars are lined up, and they just, when the ferry gets there, they drive on, and then they just go to the other side and drive off. It was wild.
Oh
That's
my
pretty cool.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. That was also within walking distance of the harbor, where you get like a lot of different scenes. That's when Hooper arrives,
Oh,
he
yeah,
gives- Yeah. That's when he's given, like, all the fishermen are going out, and
Oh, they're all gonna die.
yeah, exactly. Oh, they're all gonna die. It's so good. Also, when they've caught the shark, they've got what kind of shark is that?
A
Tiger shark.
what?
What? Yeah. So all of that, I got a couple of different shots. Again, other people's filming locations videos really helped me. I don't think I could have done it without it, but
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
it was so, well, first of all, Dustin, what you need to know about me is that I'm a directionally challenged fool. So the fact that I was able to pull this off at all, I'm still very proud of. But yeah, being able to watch them and be like, none of this looks the same. So what you're going to look for is this one house that has the window that looks like this in the background. And I was like, okay, I can line this
that's
up.
cool.
Because at the harbor, there's the building that he goes into and he's on the phone. That building itself, yeah, that's not there. So you're like looking at this much more open area. But you know how you were talking about Mrs. Kintner comes down and slaps Chief Brody. You can see where she walks down. All of that's recognizable.
No way.
Cool.
Okay. Did you go to the beach where Alex Kettner is attacked?
Yes.
Did you go swimming? That's the real question.
No. No. This is why it's not peak season. It's cold.
Yeah.
You're talking about Massachusetts in May. That was no, I stuck my feet in, okay? I put my feet in there.
Not he didn't go 3 feet. You're like just
No, no, don't be crazy. It
Hey,
can't
no
be.
one gets no one
No,
gets attacked in 6 inches of water, does it?
yeah,
yeah.
6 inches is okay.
Um, I will say, so you go to, it's literally marked this way on Google Maps. You can just go to the Jaws Bridge.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so where Alex Kintner is attacked, is where the jetty is, where Chief Brody's running along that big rock wall. And they're like, shark, there's a shark going into the pond. This was honestly one of the favorite things that I saw because again, looking at it from like the filmmaking perspective, and I kind of felt like a little location scout, and you're like, oh, okay, so this was over here, but by the time you've got the girl painting and she's
Yeah.
pointing this direction, I mean, this is for the
Shark.
4th of July. I'm conflating scenes, but both the Alex Kintner scene, death scene, and then also the 4th of July, it's the
They're
same
like
beach.
right next to each other. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So in my head, they're all the same. But yeah, so you go like to the other side and she's over there, but then the pond's for old ladies. The pond
Yeah.
is on the other side of the bridge. So it's all right there, but to really get to like stand there and get a geographical sense of like, okay, this is where you're setting the camera up for this shot, this shot, this
Oh,
shot, and then
yeah.
you're all piecing it together. Like, yeah, it was really cool to see it three-dimensionally like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
no, that's
cool.
cool. Did
Yeah.
you jump off the Jaws Bridge?
No.
I
Probably
heard that's a
shouldn't.
thing people
Yeah, you're gonna
do.
get a fine.
I mean,
No.
here's the thing. If other people were there and like I said, it wasn't freezing, I might have. But what was so cool, again, there was no one there. I had this place to myself in a way that was almost a little unnerving. I was like,
You're
Really?
like,
where is everybody? I mean, I was kind of glad for filming purposes, but like, yeah, people were not around and there's not a bus stop there. But what was so cool is since it wasn't a busy season, I just pressed the like bus stop, like, let's stop here. And they just let me off. And I was like, okay, bye.
nice.
So
Catch you
That's kind of
later.
cool.
catch it. Yeah, it was really cool to see the community in that way. I would say for it being a 50th anniversary, which obviously I was there on the 51st anniversary for filming purposes, right?
Yeah,
They were
Yeah.
there
right.
the year
Yeah.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
But it was really cool to see how unchanged it was, honestly.
Really? That's
Yeah.
trippy.
Yeah, it was very still just had that small town island feel. It was
Oh
very
my
fun.
gosh, that's wild.
I
Yeah,
do think
but
it's really neat too that so like the whole movie is essentially filmed here. So you can go to different location to different
yeah,
location. Because so many movies, it's like, yeah, here's where they filmed. But then you go to the next
exactly.
location and it's like, it's somewhere totally different. You might even have to fly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't get that. And here that's pretty cool that you can just sort of like, traverse around and you're like, oh, here's this scene and here's this scene.
It really was. I think Jaws is really special in that way. I'm sure there are other films. I don't have examples like that for you, but like you're saying, yeah, I could act out the whole film
Oh
right there.
my.
Maybe Home Alone. I know they shot that
Mm.
in like Chicago.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
could,
yeah.
but still, even that I bet is like grander in scale. Like you can't just sort of,
In terms of getting around, totally.
yeah,
Yeah. And some people are smart and like take their cars or rent a car while they're there. I'm just, I'm doing all this by bus and like walking for miles and it worked for me. But
that is
That's
cool though.
no, that's pretty awesome.
wait. Back to like where Alex Kintner was. So you've got the jetty. I will
Did
say
you run along it in Channel
yes, I
Chief?
did.
Yes.
Yes, I did,
Nice.
and that was way harder than it looks.
Get out
I
of the
was like,
water.
I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna bust it, right? But yeah, no, it's these big rocks, and you're like trying to jump over and make sure, you're not falling. So he did that very well, very cool looking. I was like, la la la. I did film that. We'll have to see. Um, no, but it was interesting, and I again glad I watched other people's videos on this, but they extended the beach.
Huh.
So what you see doesn't line up with what's there now.
Oh, okay.
What is
Huh.
cool is the shoreline itself does line up, like just the shape of it, which I think is
Yeah.
interesting, but it's like extended. So where they would have been is now like dunes. There was a lot of dune restoration everywhere because I also went to South Beach where the opening scene
Uh-huh.
was filmed as well. But Yeah, so the jetty, like you can actually see where the stonework changes color slightly from the newer stones being
Mm,
placed in to
Yeah,
like
okay.
continue the beach down. But
yeah.
yeah, so all the same location, even the Jaws Bridge, unfortunately, that's different. I mean, I say unfortunately, I'm sure they did that for like safety reasons and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, not the same
They're
bridge
like,
was
it was gonna
lowered.
fall down, but
I'm like,
sorry,
how
Caitlin, we would have
unfortunate.
left it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then the other side on the pond, there's a lot less beach because he jumps off the bridge and down into the sand,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's like it's very rocky to get down there. So that all looks a little different, but yeah, you're in the same spot.
Did you rent like a little like kayak to go out in the pond?
No. Once again, these are like things that I would have loved to do, and I did look up some things like that, but I think it was just going by myself, not knowing anything and being like, can I even use this bus system? I don't even know how I would have gotten a kayak out there.
Yeah.
Like, so no, alas, I didn't get out on the water
Did you
for
ring
anything.
the people that live in Chief Brody's house doorbell and ask them to
Oh,
go drink
oh,
wine with them?
Christian.
No,
I would have. Like, hey,
no,
I got
you
some wine.
wouldn't.
Let's
Well,
go have a
no, come
bottle of
on.
wine.
Here's the thing. I really I just want to be respectful of everyone. I don't even like the videos where people are like up on the sand dunes trying to point things out to you. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to be on the sand dunes. And I'm not going to go into people's yards. And I'm not going to,
Yeah.
like, I can only imagine how much foot traffic they get. So,
Well, because what's that famous one from Breaking Bad where people would go to Walter White's house and throw a pizza on the roof, and they're like, people
oh
live here,
Or
no.
the
and like it.
Goonies. Did you hear about the Goonies one? The Goonies
Mm-mm.
house? Yeah, they had to build a wall because so many people were visiting it that they're like, yeah, like, please
Well,
don't
that
run
was
it up on
like
our porch.
you were talking about Home Alone. Apparently, the people that live there now are pretty rude, and people are like, "We just want to see." And I'm like, "Yeah, but can you imagine if you just had
Yeah,
strangers
I
outside of your
mean,
house all the
all the
to
time?"
be
time.
fair, you bought the Home Alone house. That comes
Yeah,
with like,
I mean, yeah,
you knew what you're getting into.
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually, funny enough, I saw a social media post about the Home Alone house where it's all renovated. It's all like a white, modern redo inside, so it doesn't look the same. And like they
Oh,
had
I
the
did hear
side by
that. Yeah.
sides, and I'm like, I kind of like the charm of the old one, but I totally get why people would want to like, do something new.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. It's probably, it's like any of these film locations. You go back in time, it's like a time capsule. You want to see it the way you remember it, but obviously things are going to get updated over time.
So in Martha's Vineyard, do they have like a bunch of, I don't know, like a Jaws swag shop or something?
I would
Anything
say,
touristy like that you saw?
I would say there definitely is a lot of Jaws merch just in like all of the
Hmm.
stores.
Gotcha.
But I think it was honestly way less than I was expecting.
Really?
Yeah, I
Hmm.
did get the thing that I bought is this fun little shark magnet and it says Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. That
That's
is
So
cool.
cool.
I think this is kind of more what you see. You see like Martha's Vineyard stuff, not like Bruce the
Jaws.
shark, Jaws.
Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
it's so especially I don't know, maybe it's because I work at Universal and I'm just like I see merch everywhere. And so I'm
Yeah,
like, I
Yeah.
yeah.
thought it was gonna be like that, especially for like because obviously they were getting ready to celebrate the 50th. I was not gonna be anywhere near that for the expensive Airbnb and hotel
Sure.
prices.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
They just had their whole screening and everything over there. But so like I said, I can imagine that a lot of it was because I wasn't there when the tourists were there. But I also still felt that a lot of their stuff was more geared toward like Martha's Vineyard
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
rather than just like straight Jaws.
Gotcha.
That's
That
kind
kind
of
of makes
cool.
sense because I mean, I'm sure they're, as much as Jaws is a part of, you know, the merchandise that's there.
Yeah.
It's also like, hey, I mean, that's not why everybody comes here.
Right. Yeah. Totally. And I think that was something that you could see by me trying to hunt down all these filming locations. Is it was very much like, oh, people are just here for their vacation and I'm the weirdo with the camera.
What
Like
is that
everybody,
person doing?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if you, I'm sure the people know, like, oh, they're
Yeah.
filming, like, yeah. Um, But just in terms of, I think the island has very strict rules too about change and that kind of thing. And
Mm,
so I think that's a huge reason as to why I think like when
it's
you
still
go,
a time capsule.
it's still a time capsule, like especially Edgartown, where like downtown Amity was. I first of all, super cute, but so tiny and compact, like even more so than it feels in the movie.
Hmm.
Literally, I rewalked the path a couple of times just because I tried to film it across different days. Um, you can go from where Chief Brody, you're essentially rewalking the path he takes when he's trying to get the signage for the
Yeah.
beach is closed, like all those materials. So he leaves the police station. That's
Hmm.
actually someone's residence. That's just a
Oh,
house. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Oh,
So
interesting.
he leaves right there. He turns the corner and you see a big tree on the right hand side. It's got its own placard. It's the giant pagoda tree. So
Hmm.
that's still there, which is lovely. Um, you walk down, you see meadows come out of the, I don't know what you would call that, news, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on the other side of the street, it's called the Chappaquiddick House, but that's the Amity Gazette. And so, yeah, no. Okay. The other side then was the coroner's house, the coroner's coming
Hmm.
out. And
Hmm.
so Meadows comes out of the Amity Gazette. And then, yeah, you just round the corner. The place that he goes into to get the materials is now a restaurant called the Port Hunter, I think, and it was not open yet for the season, which that was
Okay.
interesting.
Oh.
But you could tell it was like a fancy, fancy restaurant.
Okay.
Um, but the thing that was cool is that like from the other side, you could see like when he enters into the place the buildings that were in the background of the windows. So like you can
Oh,
tell
okay.
that's like where it was. And
Yeah.
then when he gets picked up by Deputy Hendricks drives the truck around the corner, that's in front of the bank, and that means they've cheated where he walks out of the store because it's actually closer down to where the street corner was, where like the
Mm,
July 4th
Yeah,
banner is.
that's where he gives them the signs and then he takes the truck and leaves.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
Let
okay.
Polly do the printing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just all right there in this tiny one little thing. And then you've got Mayor Vaughn comes out right there across from the bank, and then they're walking with the marching band. And yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool. That's
So I don't know if this is a location that you were
Mhm.
able to find. Did
Okay.
you go to the house that Spielberg stayed in when he was shooting the movie?
No, no, I didn't find that house, but I found another one. Oh man, I'd have to look up what it was. I think it was essentially like kind of like their production offices
Oh,
was
no
around
way.
there
Okay,
oh,
that's
okay.
cool.
because they actually filmed this is where I'm gonna have to look back at my materials, and sorry I can't
No,
remember it
it's
off the
okay.
top of my head, but it was essentially like they still used those as filming locations too, because you can see like the different windows on the house, I think were for some different scenes that it's not coming to me what it was, but like even their production offices, they were like using those windows for something.
Oh, no
Hmm.
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
That's
oh, I
cool.
think it was like when Chief Brody's typing on the typewriter, you see it say Shark Attack, like that little
Yeah.
office, and you can see those windows in the background. I think it was like for stuff like that.
No
Okay.
way. That's
Yeah.
cool. So you
Dude, so they're
found where
just
they
they're
were
just
running production out
using
of it.
they're using any locations they
Yeah.
can, basically. They're like,
Oh my
hey,
God.
just set up right here. That looks good for that scene.
Well, yeah,
Go.
that's why you hear like all the accounts. I mean, they just took over the island essentially because it was still a huge studio film. And you think about all I just described, it's a very tiny place. But you think of like we know all this production equipment, all the production
Hmm. Hmm.
vehicles,
Yeah.
and how they talked about bringing in catering for all of these people for their union
Yeah, for the
mandated
whole crew.
lunches.
Yeah.
Like it was a production for the
Yeah.
whole island, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, very
Wow.
cool.
That's crazy. And you must have such an appreciation after being there and seeing the challenges of how like remote and small this place was. And
Yeah.
then watching the movie, like it's gonna be, you're like, wow, that
Oh,
was a lot more than we were expecting in Spielberg.
Yeah. Well, it's also cool that like we were talking about like yeah, it's all on one island, it's all kind of in one place, but it really was like to get to South Beach. I went there. That's the opening scene with the bonfire and where Christy's
Hmm.
like they're running down that. That's like all the way in the south. And then all the way on the other side, I said that's where Menemsha, the fishing village for Quint's
Hmm.
shack, but it's also the lighthouse um, with the billboard. And so you're kind of, and there are a bunch of lighthouses. So you're like, okay, they had to still go like find that place that
Yeah.
they're going to piece together and imagine that it's all very close by. So like you're still, I just think that's kind of fascinating that they were
Yeah.
able to find those different little places as well.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
Oh. All right, D man, I guess we need to take a trip to Martha's Vineyard.
Let's go
absolutely.
record a podcast over there. Yeah.
Seriously, that's cool.
I have another question. So, when you're on the studio tour at Universal, now that you've been there in person, how close does that segment of the studio tour, like Amity, match the actual location?
Oh my God, that's so funny. You know, I would say our little area, our little Jaws Lake right there, is a lot more colorful. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know
Mm.
if like I know the houses kind of got restored as we've done, like, we just celebrated the 60th anniversary of our studio tour. And then we had like our mega movie summer for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. So, like, there's obviously upkeep that goes into it. I can't say what it exactly looked like when it
Yeah.
opened. But, that's where they filmed Murder, She Wrote. That was Cabot Cove, Maine.
Whoa.
With
Okay,
Angela
cool.
Lansbury. So, like, they
No
used those
way.
sets for filming as well. So, you have to take that into account. But I would say, I was struck by all the like just very white New England houses
Yeah.
with like the columns and a
Hmm.
lot of American flags, like just very like
Okay.
Quaint.
yeah, very quaint. I want to celebrate the 4th of July here. Like
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it
yeah,
was.
Gotcha.
yeah.
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 Okay.
Cool, cool.
Um, on the same note, if we're talking,
Studio
Universal
tour.
Studio
Yeah.
Tour, do you have any exciting antidotes, or have you ever seen, I don't know, has someone ever jumped off the tour bus to try and swim with a
Never.
shark or something? Like,
Never.
do you have any cool stories you can tell us?
Well, another fun thing that filmed there, if you guys know Key and Peele. So
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got, yeah, Jordan Peele, Keegan Michael Key have filmed all over the lot. And their Megan sketch where like you've got Jordan Peele rowing away on the boat, Megan, come back. He's like,
Yeah, yeah,
"Oh."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was on Jaws Lake.
That's
So
awesome.
No way, that's
that's a
funny.
fun one. Um, no, it was so funny. Sometimes especially for the 60th anniversary, we got some new media with Steven Spielberg where he's talking about being on the lot. And, there's all this lore around Spielberg and how he got his start at Universal. And it's so funny to listen to that story change so many different times when he tells it. So you're like,
Yeah.
what really happened?
That's
But
funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because, there's like the story where he had a pass for the summer, or he had like a 3-day pass, and then like the security guard just got used to seeing him. So he just like waved and like still went in. And,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
whatever the story was, that he got to spend more time on the lot and get to know the filmmakers and got his start there. I think that's
No
amazing.
way.
But he tells a story about jumping off the bus. And I'm like, now, why would we play this on the tour? I'm not
Yeah, I
trying to
know,
have
huh?
people jump off this tram.
That's
So
funny.
that's fun. We also just started playing, we've got the original trailer for Jaws now. Have you guys seen that?
No.
I don't know that I
Oh,
have.
it's fantastic. If I can find it online, I will send it to you. But
Oh, we'll
it's
share it for sure.
yeah, it's amazing because it's got kind of like that opening shot from like the shark's point of view, and uh, it does this whole thing where you see how violent it is, and then it's like rated PG, not
Yeah.
may not be suitable for children. Like they didn't have
That's
PG-13
awesome.
then.
So funny.
That's
So
like rated R today. They're
yeah, yeah, exactly. And you're like, okay. So, oh yeah, that trailer's amazing. Um, Trying to think of other like obviously I didn't get to see it, but the the orca being
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, I know we were talking a little bit before filming about like Spielberg used to sit out there and just kind of like contemplate that movie.
Hmm.
And yeah, unfortunately, I think it was kind of like disintegrating and got taken away without his knowledge, which was really
He's all
sad.
sad.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
like
"Where'd my
I would
boat
have saved
go?"
the scraps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's always amazing being on the lot and we make it fun and it's like a ride, but just to be surrounded by that much history is really
Well,
cool.
what is okay, so like what is your favorite part of the studio tour as a fan, but then what's your favorite part as a guide?
You know, Jaws really is up there for me as a guide because you get to see the audience reactions to the shark. It's so funny because for us, it's like, yeah, the shark's gonna pop out of the water. Like you know
Yeah,
what's coming.
Yeah.
Stop,
Yeah.
stop being so silly. But it gets
Yeah.
them every time. They're screaming, they're laughing. You've got the fire. Oh, it is so cool to take the tour at night.
oh,
Um,
I've never done that.
I've never done that
yeah,
either.
when I guess it has got to be summer hours, obviously, after it gets dark. That's
Yeah.
how night works. And yeah, Christian's loving my storytelling skills. Um, I've got a video where it's timed so well where the fire comes out on the dock and the shark for its second time coming out of the water is at the same time as another explosion, and especially at night,
Oh,
just the
that's
way it's
cool.
outlined, I'm
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
this is cinematic right here, guys. But probably my favorite thing on the lot is Courthouse Square, Back to the Future. Easy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's my favorite one to be around for sure.
Cool. Oh, I'm just curious. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I know
Which
it's
is
crazy.
celebrating its 40th anniversary this
I
year.
know.
Yay.
When I was there, it was really interesting. It's a little bit off the studio tour, but I saw they were building a new, well, I guess like a major roller coaster for like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, buddy. You've
It
got
like construction was intense. I mean, it looked crazy.
yeah. So the end of the studio tour itself used to end with Fast and Furious Supercharged, which was like kind of like if you've been on the tour, you've done King Kong 360 3D. It's
Yeah.
like you're in, um, the tunnel with the screens all around you.
Yeah.
So that did get shut down a couple months back. Um, Officially going to be something else that hasn't been announced even to us yet, but
Hmm.
because we've got, yeah, our new roller coaster. It's Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
what? Okay.
And guys,
I'm there. I'm already
guys,
sold.
no, you need to understand. It's even cooler than it looks because first of all, it's going to be our first like upside down roller coaster, right? So you've got
Yeah,
all
it
the
looks nuts.
yeah, it's already like massive and beautiful. But the seat itself, you're going to be in a car, obviously. This is Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah.
And the car itself is drifting while you're
Oh, that's
going.
Oh
nuts.
I
my.
know.
Oh
I
my
always love when they get
gosh.
innovative like that. Like, hey, we're
Yeah.
gonna do like a new element to this thing.
Yeah, yeah. So
I am so sold on this. This sounds
I'm
amazing.
I'm excited for
That's
sure.
really cool. And I know like it's weird because we finally like for the first time we got to go see like the whole Nintendo world, which the theming's insane. I wasn't able
Yes.
to ride Mario Kart. The line was like two and a half
You have,
hours.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That when that ride opened 2 years ago, the line during the summer was 3 hours
Yeah, it was
long
a long
every
line.
single day. Yeah. I saw it at 3.5 some days. I was like, this is bonkers. But it's also so, oh, I'm so sad you didn't get to ride it
I know. I'm
yet.
gonna try to go back. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's another one where, so it's augmented reality. So you're
Mhm.
playing Mario Kart and you see things through the screen. And
Oh, that
it's
sounds
another
cool.
one where I'm
That
like,
sounds like fun.
technology is cool, y'all.
And I that was a land where I could totally imagine like as a kid just being totally blown away. I saw it
Yeah.
happen to kids there. They, oh, dad, and
Yeah.
it was impressive even as an adult. It was the theming's just incredible. But yeah, I could imagine as a kid, I'd be like, that's my favorite place. That's where I'd want to be.
100%. When I take guests around, I'll ask them at the beginning of the day, like, what are you looking forward to the most? It is always Mario. Super
Really?
Nintendo World.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing beat for me. Like I had to go use the restroom down there and I walked out and the Jurassic Park theme song was playing. I was like, oh man, that was like the best trip to the restroom ever. Because I walked out to like this epic theme music. But
See, that's my favorite ride. Jurassic World is my favorite ride. So get
oh,
me
it's
over
so
to
much fun.
Jurassic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome. And then I had never been there since they did the whole Harry Potter. And
Yeah.
so that was really impressive just visually, where I feel like Nintendo World had a slightly more, I guess I'd call it like flat theming element to it. But because it's just, it's a video game brought to life, you're like, well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I felt like the castle off in the distance of the Harry Potter land was like really, really stunning.
Oh, it's awesome. And there's kind of like a back entrance where it's really hidden a lot more in the trees. And when I take guests on that area, I'm like, look, it's like we're actually students at Hogwarts because this is how it looks for them. You just know. But
It was really cool.
yeah, I think it used to be like Harry Potter was the big thing, and now it's so weird because I'll get kids that haven't even seen Harry Potter. And I'm like,
What?
oh, what a
Wow. Maybe it's
generational
time
difference.
for
Yeah.
maybe it's time for Warner Brothers and HBO to actually start up that new show then.
I know.
They need
You
a new
gotta see what
generation.
happens.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, so I have a question, and this just
Yeah.
popped in my head. Kaitlin, I know how much you love Jaws and Spielberg. I also know how much you love Jurassic Park and Spielberg. What do you think is Spielberg's like the epitome of a Spielberg monster movie?
Like the formula or which movie?
Which one is
Oh, I mean, no,
Mm.
Jurassic Park is like my favorite. I
Wow.
can't. Yeah.
Hear that, Steven? She's not a fan of Jaws.
No, I am, Steven. You don't understand. But like dinosaurs.
so good.
No, especially when you're talking about like we had our little moment about the practical effects of Jaws. Come on, the
Oh
practicals
yeah,
in Jurassic Park. Hello.
no, I think you're probably right. It's
Yeah.
significantly better, and I mean Spielberg was a more mature filmmaker, right?
There you go.
It was like 15 years later, so learned a
I
few
mean, pushing
things.
boundaries both times is what's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Ugh, we got to get Spielberg on this podcast.
Well, there you go.
I'll try.
Thank you, D-Man. I appreciate you picking up the baton on that one.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. But it sounds like honestly, you would probably have the best odds of just catching him on the studio tour.
Man,
Tell him-
I wish. I try to tell people to keep their eyes peeled at all times because apparently he will go in like his little golf cart. You never know. There
Wow.
was a behind the scenes one where they were actually filming him in the golf cart and you see the trams go by. So the lot is truly a magical place. You just always got to have your
Have
eyes
you
peeled.
ever been in the little Amlin subsection of the Universal lot?
Is that still there?
I could not say, but I personally have never.
I've
been-
never.
What? Let's go.
Yeah.
No, it is very fun to be able to walk the lot my time off there. That's another we were talking about perks of being a studio tour guide. That's one of the best. So
Nice. Very cool.
yeah.
That is cool.
And then chapstick.
Yeah, don't want to get you in trouble, so we won't ask any more questions about what you may or may have not seen while walking the lot in your off hours.
Thank you. Appreciate.
But so I guess my real question is this. So now that you've seen Jaws in IMAX, what's the next movie that you'd like to see in IMAX?
You know, it's got to be Back to the Future. I
Yeah.
just found out that's coming to IMAX October
And the trailer
31st
for
of
that
all
is
days.
so amazing. Yeah, it's so amazing.
You know what? We just got to see, again, since that's the 40th anniversary, I just got to see Bob Gale came and talked to us.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Oh
if we
my
need to do a Back
gosh.
to the Future episode, you guys call me again.
Well,
Yeah.
Holy cow. I think we're gonna have to.
It's just amazing. Yeah, these are all like my favorites. So,
Cool.
Very
Yeah, that's a
cool.
great answer. I love Back to the Future. And hopefully I'll get to see it.
Well, how about you,
Yeah.
D-Man? Now that you finally saw Jaws on the big screen, what's your
Ooh. I am going to that giant dome theater thing in LA to go see The Matrix.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that experience. That should be really fun. And I've never seen The Matrix on the big screen at all. So even though I know it was its anniversary, like 1 or 2 years ago, and it came back and I had a chance, I didn't do it. Just like I did with Jaws. A few years ago was Jaws in 3D and I didn't go like an idiot. But
That's the thing. Like, this is the first year I've had A-list. So getting to go to all of these things now, it's like, it's really awesome. And yeah, I think it's kind of funny that they're putting so many things back in theaters now. But honestly,
yeah,
I'm here for it because these
that's
are
got
the
to be
movies
half
that are
my
like,
lineup. It's new
Right?
stuff
Yeah.
and old stuff.
Yeah.
But like you
No.
said, because we never saw it in theaters, so it's an entirely different experience.
No.
I'll let you guys know how it is.
Seriously. Looks awesome. Kaitlin, we're gonna wrap it up. So
Sweet.
thank you so much for coming on and answering all our Jaws questions because we don't have anyone else who we can ask.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me.
Where can our massive listening audience connect with you?
Yeah, come chat with me over on Instagram and on YouTube. That's both just my name, Kaitlin Moose. Hopefully soon I'll have my filming locations video of Martha's Vineyard for you guys to see. So
Yes.
Cool. We'll share it when it's out for sure.
amazing. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
On that note, CP, I want to throw it out to our listeners. Be sure to keep the conversations going. We always appreciate hearing from you guys, whether it's through comments, reviews, whatever. You can follow the show at filmmakerscompass.com. And you can follow the show on social media, specifically Instagram at Film Comp Podcast or at Film Comp Pod. And you can follow me personally at Big Kid D-Man, CP.
You can follow me at NDCal5. Thank you for hanging out and talking movies with us this week. We will see you back here next week. Until then, keep watching movies.